quickly, it is our plant pruning. I can share my screen. Good morning. It is currently 9 a.m. and I just opened up my laptop, just signed on. I actually have a meeting at 9. It is a meeting with my immediate team, so all the PMs that sit under my boss. There are about 5 of us, so we have a meeting once a week to kind of catch each other up on what we've got going on in our own product areas, and then we take about half the hour to focus on some topic of some sort. So some weeks it'll be tips and tricks that we have to share with each other, or if someone is kicking off a large project or just wants to share and get feedback on something that they're working on, this is kind of the time for them to do that. So this week, that's actually what I'm doing. I've had something that I've been working on for the past like 2 weeks from scratch, and I wanted to share out the doc to get feedback from the rest of my team before it goes out more broadly. All of our hour-long meetings start 10 after the hour, and then all of our 30-minute meetings start 5 after. So since our meeting is an hour long, it's actually gonna start at 9:10, which means, thankfully, I have time to quickly make some breakfast. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything urgent in my inbox before I went and go do that. So let's go make breakfast. Yay. All right, we've got breakfast. I honestly have been doing this for the longest time. I'll just do Greek yogurt, granola, and blueberries, my favorite fruit of all time, and then I'll mix it up and boom, I'll just eat that during the meeting. It is a casual meeting since, of course, it's just within the immediate members of my team. Someone just jumped into the meeting, so I'm gonna go ahead and join it. Good morning. Just a heads up, I do have my breakfast with me today, so if I'm muted, you'll know why. Let me go ahead and share my screen and I will walk you guys through it. Bye. So that was meeting number 1. We actually ended a few minutes early just to give up people some time back to get ready for the next meeting and whatnot. Looking at my calendar right now, I have another meeting coming up at 10. Once again, everything starts 10 minutes after if it's an hour-long meeting. So my next meeting actually starts at 10:10, which means I actually have 15 minutes. There are honestly so many notifications from so many places. I'll quickly take 15 minutes and just triage through them. Managed to respond to all the high priority things coming in. I think we're set, I think we're good. I also always make sure you're drinking water. Just filled up my little jug of water, so I'm gonna be drinking this because I'm about to hop into my next meeting, which is it's in a couple minutes. Quickly to debrief you on what that meeting is. So we do this every 2 weeks. We do sprints on our team. We run 2-week-long sprints. Some people do, I think the average is like probably like 2 to 4 weeks is how long sprints usually run. This is for one of the feature crews I work with. Our sprint just ended, or is going to end today. So we're gonna have a sprint planning to figure out the next sprint. It's an hour-long meeting, and for those of you guys who don't know what sprint planning meetings are, you basically just take a look at your product backlog, figure out what items, or figure out the priority of those items, and then basically decide what needs to be done in the next sprint. So we kind of figure out, closing off the last sprint, coming into the new one, what do we need to look at and what needs to be done. At the end, we actually do a retrospective as well, which a retrospective is kind of just looking back on the sprint that just happened. So we take about 15 minutes toward the end to look back at the last sprint. And then I think we break it down into like 3 categories: what went well, what didn't go so well, and what we should do for the future. Something along those lines. It's very just reflective on how the last sprint went. That is what I'm about to jump into. Hey, morning. No, I can share. I actually have the backlog pulled up right now. Let me just go to the sprint. Okay, feel free to ping me if anything else comes up. Bye. And that was sprint planning. So we're all set there. And now we have a good idea of what everyone's going to be working on in the next 2 weeks. I'm very organized, feeling like we have a solid but like manageable workload coming up ahead for us. Hey friends, quickly interrupting here. So for those of you guys who don't know me, hi, what's up? I'm Evelyn. I'm a product manager working in tech. I figured I'd probably should introduce myself before we get on with the rest of the video. So nice to meet you. Welcome to our little community here on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, all the things. I have a lot of people ask me what a product manager does, what I do on a day-to-day. Figured why not make a video on it, take you guys through really just one of my normal days. The schedule itself varies from day to day, but this is one of my days, and hopefully it's somewhat insightful for you to see. I love making videos like this and sharing them out with the world, so if there's any sort of video requests you have, other questions you have that you want me to answer, feel free to just leave them down in the comments below. I will be happy to read and respond / make new videos about them. And with that, I'll continue on with the video. So it's now 11, and I actually am also a PM for another team, so we also have stand-up for that team. So usually the team that I just had sprint planning with, we do our stand-up at 11, we do at 10:45. This team, we meet at 11 daily for stand-up. The whole team gets together during stand-up. This is a bit of a larger team that I'm on, so we actually have 30 minutes for stand-up. And what we'll essentially do is each of us take turns and just give updates, the entire team. PM's included, and then design sometimes pops in and out. So we'll give updates, and those updates are on basically what you worked on the day before, what you're planning on working on today, and then whether or not you're blocked on anything. Okay, I'm gonna join that meeting. Morning. Hello. So my updates, I've actually just been working on. Thanks everyone. Bye. Okay, it is 11:30 now. I just wrapped up that other meeting. The next meeting is an hour long. It's actually some work on a feature improvement that will require work across a couple teams. So I've been working with the EM and PMs of other teams to kind of figure out what exactly is the work that needs to be done and which team is responsible for what parts of that work. Today is kind of the first meeting we're having with more people than just beyond engineering manager and PM. So we're pulling in other engineers to kind of get their input as well, starting to brainstorm better about what the next steps would look like. I'm very excited because I actually haven't worked with some of the engineers that we're about to meet with, so that should be really fun. Hey. Thanks everyone, enjoy lunch, bye. It's now 12:35, we went a little bit over, and let's go eat lunch. I have about an hour before my next meeting. Right, here is lunch. This is beautiful eggplant. Y'all, it has been a morning. This is my beautiful eggplant parm that I made last night. It was actually my first time making eggplant parm, which was so much fun. Been exploring a lot with new recipes during quarantine. This is basically what I do during lunch. I usually either reheat something from last night or I try to make something during the lunch hour. I just wanted to quickly catch all up on kind of what happened before I got to work got to my desk at 9. So depending on the morning, I kind of follow my sister's schedule. So I woke up at 6:30. Wow, that was a really long way of saying I woke up at 6:30. It's actually really pretty out at 6:30, and my sister left for work at 7. And I actually had an eye appointment this morning at 8 a.m. So between 7 and 8, I was honestly just getting ready, showering, and depending on the morning, I either do like a workout at home or I go on a walk around the neighborhood. I went on a walk this morning around the neighborhood, got back, got ready, and head out to my appointment at 8. It actually ended up being right under an hour, which was perfect because I got back just in time for my first meeting, which you guys saw. It's not usually so rushed to the desk. Usually I try to have like an hour before my first meeting of the day, just because we work with a lot of customers and also like members of our team who are in India or in Europe, very different time zones than us. So I try to reserve like an hour in the morning to respond to, and just any notifications that come in, really be able to triage through it. I would say I'm a morning person. I just enjoy the calm and peace of mornings. I am back at my desk now. I had another piece of eggplant parm because it was so good. And now I have about 45 minutes before my next meeting. I don't know why the lighting is so bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some prep work for my meeting at 2. My meeting at 2 is a design and eng sync on finalizing some upcoming design and spec requirements. So I need to make sure the spec is completely up to date and take a look again at the designs to make sure that it looks the way we last left it off at, so there's nothing new or unexpected that'll come up in that meeting. So that is what I'm gonna go ahead and work on right now. Also, in case anyone's curious, my like work messaging chat thing is usually just busy because there are so many group chats that I'm a part of for smaller teams, and there are also a lot of one-on-one chats. So that's what it looks like behind the scenes. of the meetings as well is there's just a lot of other messaging chat going on in the background. Fun. Hello, welcome back. It is 1:30. I'm about to hop into this meeting. It's actually a meeting requested by our data analyst for our team. So initially it was actually scheduled for 2:30 because they were checking in like one-on-one with each PM. But I messaged our data analyst and was like, hey, why not just group us together? Because it won't take the full 30 minutes anyway, save us all some time. So we canceled our 2:30 and I got bumped up to 1:30 onto the other PM's invite. So we're just having that meeting all together to save a little bit of time. Hey, thanks for moving up the other meeting. All right, thanks so much. Bye. And that was that meeting. It is now perfectly 2. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my next meeting and I'll explain what I'm doing after. Hey. Well, it's all good. I can share my screen. Let me pull that up real quick. Awesome. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks everyone. Initially, the designer and I had been working together on kind of like a drafted state of the design itself. Once it gets to a certain point where we feel like it's close to final, we'll want to go ahead and pull in engineering as well. So that meeting I had just now was between design, engineering, and PM, just get their feedback on this design itself. So we got to a good point where kind of product design and engineering all were aligned. You gotta make some, you gotta compromise somewhere. And so that design likely will just go through one more iteration with the design team and then be set and ready. And I will polish up the spec to reflect those changes that we just talked about making, and we're set. So that's what that meeting was. I have a couple more minutes before my next meeting at 3:10, and it's actually an OKR planning meeting. So we're nearing the end of this quarter, which means we're starting to look at next quarter, and our team uses something called objectives and key results in order to plan for the next quarter. What objectives and key results are you put on an objective, what you'd like to focus on next for your team, and then under that objective will be a couple key results, which basically answer the question of how will you know you achieved that objective is when you deliver on these key results. So every quarter, before the start of every quarter, me and the engineering managers and the engineering leads, as well as the other PMs on my team, will meet and figure out what those objectives and key results we want to put forward for next quarter are. Basically setting like next quarter's goals is kind of how I see it. OKRs are just a framework to go about doing that. We're going to jump into that. Hello. Okay, so that meeting just finished up. I am so sorry for the horrible lighting. That meeting just finished up though. It is now 4-ish. I need to hop into my next meeting, which starts in 5 minutes. It's a 30-minute meeting. It's just some backlog pruning that we do between sprints. So earlier today, I had a sprint planning meeting for one team. This is for the other team. It's to look through the backlog with the PM and EM to figure out where we're at in terms of all the outstanding work items before we go into sprint planning tomorrow for that team. We're just going to take a look at all of our items, make sure we're aligned in terms of how we've gone about prioritizing them. During backlog pruning, we'll actually go through and make sure that each item is also has a story point assigned to it, so we know just about how many days of work that item should be, so that when we go into sprint planning, we kind of know for an individual for 2 weeks how many items they can take on based on those story points. It also just helps me better understand how big our asks are from the product side. So that's my final meeting. It'll go till probably about 4:30, 4:35. Hey, do you want to lead today or do you want me? Yeah, I don't mind. Let me pull up that query. Thanks everyone, bye. And that was the last meeting of today. I'm gonna go ahead and do the security training now, so that should be fun. So that took around 25 minutes. They basically just they play a video to kind of teach you a couple things. You can't really skip through it, so you kind of just sit there and watch it. And at the very end of each section, they also have like a little quiz to make sure that you're paying attention. Now it's about 4:55, yeah, 4:55, and I kind of just do whatever I need to do to wrap up today. There are a couple more time-sensitive items that I'll want to prepare for tomorrow. So like, for example, right now, I'll go ahead and look at my calendar for tomorrow to figure out what meetings I have, especially earlier on in the day, so that I am ready for that tomorrow morning. Doesn't look like I have too much left today. And there's some items that honestly, it's just nice to come back to them tomorrow after not having looked at them for a while, so that I feel like I'm coming into it with fresh eyes. I am actually going to go make some coffee right now to have, and then we'll go into kind of a little focus mode. So let's go make some coffee. If anyone's wondering what my coffee recipe is, it's just a Joe's Coffee Nespresso pod with a lot of ice. And then I add a little bit of agave in the raw while it's still hot. Add a bunch of ice, and I'll take some almond milk. This is my favorite one from Trader Joe's. That is perfect. This is literally my favorite coffee to drink. It is so perfect. I am back now with coffee. So what I'm gonna have and do is just do some work for the rest of the day. And I will see you right before I sign off for the end of the day. I'm feeling pretty much caught up from everything today. I have a pretty good list of things I need to tackle tomorrow morning before my meetings and whatnot, but at least for today, I'm at a good place where I feel like I can sign off and kind of come back to tomorrow with fresh eyes. So that is the end of my workday. It is 5:36. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm meeting later tonight with someone from our India team at 9-ish. So I'll sign back on later tonight. All right, thank you both. All right, bye. That was my late night meeting with India. It was actually a really quick one. It started at 9, went till 9:15. We're switching data analysts for one of our feature crews. So that was kind of just the handoff between the two, me getting introduced to the new one, and just laying down the foundation for what's to come in the next quarter with this new data analyst. I'm gonna go have a dinner, a really late dinner. Since I got off work at like 5:30, we just went out, ran a bunch of errands. We like got things shipped out, picked up a bunch of things curbside, picked up some groceries. So now I'm gonna go cook that up and then watch The Bachelorette. I don't know, we'll see. That is the end of tonight. I will leave it back to old past me to sign off on the video because I don't think she expected me to film my 9 p.m. meeting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful. If you were wondering what I do or what a PM does on a day-to-day, you know what, this is honestly just a small glimpse into the work that I do. I feel like I'm all over the place in terms of what I do on a day-to-day. Like, this isn't even a regular day for me. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, whether it be related to PM stuff, Trader Joe's stuff, whatever you'd like, feel free to leave them down below. Other than that, I'm just gonna sign off now. That's really just it. I don't think there's anything else. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If there is any other content you'd like to see, any questions you have, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and subscribe. I can't believe we're about to hit, I actually don't know how many subscribers we're at, but we're at a cool number. I think we're at like, we're over 250, which I think is incredible. So welcome to this little channel of mine if you're here, and enjoy the video.